Well, good morning. I'm KSAT meteorologist Sarah Spivey. I'm interrupting coverage here briefly to just let you know that we are dealing with ongoing flooding west of San Antonio across the hill country, an area that has already seen way too much rain. You can see that there's flash flood warnings in effect until 1 o'clock in many of these areas here because of this line of storms that is moving to the north. I know in Kerr County they were trying to resume recovery and cleanup efforts around noon, but as I put a track on this heavier line of storms here, it does look to be in the Kerr County area by about 12:15. So they're probably going to have to pause those efforts even farther into the afternoon. Now, the good news is this line is weakening as it's moving. It's moving to the northeast. So here in San Antonio, we're going to have a lot less coverage of the rain than they are out to the west. There is one part of this, though, that I really need to focus on, and it's the Frio River between Concan and Canepa. The Frio River there is under a flood warning as it is expected to reach major flood stage. I'm going to go ahead and step off my screen here and show you the flood threat for these areas. What you're looking at right now is the official river forecast for the Frio at Concan, and you can see that it is currently in action stage. That's where I've got that hovered over right now. It is rising. Earlier it was expected to crest at major flooding right around now, but we can see that it's actually kind of underperforming there. The river is rising and is definitely a situation where you want to be away from the river if you're on the Frio from Concan to Canepa. But the good news is first responders have evacuated some people out there, made them aware. This is because in these areas, what we have seen is we've seen so much rainfall in the last 12 hours. Take a look at these rainfall totals. In some cases along the Frio, we've seen up to about 9 inches of rain right along the river there, and that is why there is that flood warning for the Frio River. Here in San Antonio, you can see that our rain chances are a lot less than out to the west, more like 30 to 40% into this afternoon, and our flooding threat is a lot lower. Now, to keep you up to date, I am going to be live right now on the KSAT Weather Authority app, KSAT Plus, streaming on ksat.com, and we'll have the latest on YouTube too. You can join us there. For now, I'll get you back to the view. All right, thank you. We're continuing coverage on the Weather Authority app. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and bring you back to the radar. And what we'll do is we're going to go ahead and send out a push notification to people. I'm going to do that here on the KSAT Weather Authority app just to let everybody know that we are live. If you'll give me a second, I'm going to step off and do that just so that everybody can be aware. All right, thanks for joining us for this appcast. I'm KSAT meteorologist Sarah Spivey. We are continuing to watch ongoing flooding across areas west of San Antonio toward the Frio River, toward Concan, Uvalde, even in northern Maverick County. You can see that we've got another line of heavier storms that's pushing toward Kerrville at the moment too. And that is concerning because they are continuing to try to do recovery efforts, cleanup efforts, and the like out there. So thanks for joining us for this appcast. Once again, I'm KSAT meteorologist Sarah Spivey, continuing to be live and cover these storms. One thing to keep in mind is that these storms are weakening quite a bit. In fact, what I can show you is I can show you a loop of the last 3 hours of these storms. Notice how well developed they were, how many lightning strikes there were. And then as this storm is bowing out and heading northeast toward Kerrville, it is weakening substantially. That is good news for Kerr County because, again, they are going to be getting some more rain, which is bad news, but it's not nearly creating as much of a flooding issue as it was earlier. Right now, though, Lost Maples, Vanderpool, Tarpley getting a lot of heavy rain. This is generally moving to the northeast at about 20 miles per hour. So it'll be along the South Fork of the Guadalupe River here momentarily, but nearer to the Hunt area by about noon, nearer to Kerrville by about 12:30, and for areas closer to Comfort by about 1 o'clock. So heavier rain starting at Hunt at noon, then at Kerrville at 12:30, and then in Comfort closer to 1 o'clock. You'll notice here in San Antonio, it is dry. There is an off chance that this will be making it to the Alamo City, but we're talking more so in the afternoon. As we look out to the west, the rain is starting to lighten up. One sure way to look at the strength of a storm is to look at the lightning strikes. Now, there's still about 95 lightning strikes within this entire system. But as I take you back again 3 hours, what you'll notice is at one point there were close to 400 lightning strikes within this entire system. So, again, it is weakening. That is good news. One thing to keep in mind is that the Frio River has been rising. The Frio River from Concan down to Canipa has been rising. We talked earlier with the fire captain out in Concan, and he said that they have successfully been able to alert people, let people know. This is a much different situation than what happened on the Guadalupe on July 4th. Yes, the Frio River is flooding. It's happening during the day when people have the chance to get away from the river. It's happening on a regular old day, on a Monday, and it's happening also in a less populated area. There's still plenty of campgrounds around Concan, don't get me wrong. But the Guadalupe is completely covered with people, RV parks, everything from Hunt all the way down to Kerrville and past even toward Comfort. Concan and the Frio, on the other hand, while this is going to be causing some issues for RV parks, livestock, those kinds of things, we're not looking at as great of an impact to a largely populated area. So that is a huge difference with this event compared to the July 4th holiday. Now, here in San Antonio, our rain chances stand at about 40% this afternoon. So we're going to have a lot less coverage. Just like yesterday, there was some rain in San Antonio, but it was a lot less coverage. That's going to be the case this afternoon for us as well. And in fact, I can show you just how much rain has fallen in these areas and why we're dealing with flood warnings at the moment. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the lightning and turn off the warnings just so you can get a clearer picture of how much rain has fallen. There's those bullseyes of rain that we've seen the last several days. Near Lakey along the Frio, about 7 inches of rain. This is why we're seeing flooding along the Frio. Near Concan, about 8 inches of rain. And then you go south of Brackettville, and we're really dealing with very impressive rainfall totals out there as well over the ranch lands. 8 to 10 inches of rainfall out there as well. So we are continuing to see some flood warnings. I'm going to actually go ahead and turn on the flood warnings now as I clear off the rainfall amounts, and we're going to look at the flood warnings, where exactly those warnings are right now. These are flash flood warnings ongoing for southern Kinney, northern Maverick County until 1 p.m. We've also got a flash flood warning for Bandera, Texas, Bandera County until 1 p.m. as well. In Uvalde County, that flood warning is in effect until 1:30. Near Camp Wood in Real County, that flood warning is until 12:30. And then in northwestern Uvalde County, that flood warning is until 1. So generally, flooding runoff from all of this rain expected over the next couple of hours. The key thing to remember is if you're under a flash flood warning is to stay away from roads, especially those low water crossings. We've also got a flood warning along the Frio, but I do have to mention that the forecast for these near Concan, the forecast was for major flood stage at 11 a.m. Well, it's 11 a.m. And as I look at the latest crest, which I'll show you here on links on our second weather machine, I've got the web page pulled up. It's going to be hard to see this here, but this is the forecast crest at 16 feet, and here's where the river is right now. So unless we see an immediate surge of water at the Frio, an immediate surge of water, we're probably not going to reach this crest of 16 feet right now. We'll have to wait and see if there's additional forecast data a little bit down the line. But out of an abundance of caution, again, first responders have went ahead and asked people to stay away from the riverbanks there, the Frio. And we have seen some flooding. I mean, it is at action stage right now. We are seeing flooding over low water crossings of the Frio at Concan and the like. We can also check out the Frio River near Uvalde. This is a look at the current situation there. Again, we're not really seeing a massive rise in the Frio near Uvalde. It's technically closer to Canipa. We're not really seeing that huge spike yet. So unless they get a massive surge of water within the next 10 minutes, pardon me, we probably are not going to be seeing a huge amount of flooding issues there. All right, let's go ahead and go back to the authority radar. And you can see again here, we've got some, the heavier rain is pushing toward Medina, Lost Maples. I'm going to turn on the radar that's a little bit closer now, and we're going to take a look at the rainfall rate. The rainfall rates are coming down too, which is great. We're really only looking at a rainfall rate of about 2 inches an hour, which is still plenty high. However, as this area of rain goes toward Kerrville, again, we have to be mindful that they're still trying to do recovery efforts out there. And so any additional rain in those areas could likely lead to some flooding, like what we saw yesterday. Not nearly as damaging as it was on July 4th, but still enough to cause some issues and cause them to put a pause on the recovery efforts out there. Okay, let's take a look at San Antonio's forecast. So here's a look at rain chances today. Obviously, much higher rain chances out west where the rain is occurring. But San Antonio, we're going to be right on that edge there where some neighborhoods will get rain, some neighborhoods won't. Same with New Braunfels, Seguin, Floresville, and Pleasanton. And it's for that very reason that we are not under the watch in Bexar County, not under the flood watch in Bexar County or Comal or Guadalupe counties. It's only the counties west of San Antonio, west of Bexar, that are under that flood watch. I want to take a moment and look at the drought situation too, because remember, in spite of the fact that we have had devastating flooding, there are still many areas in our region that are under extreme or exceptional drought. I went ahead and highlighted those. And you can see that good rain has fallen on these areas. Not as much in Medina County as some folks might want with the exceptional drought out there. But as we go back to the radar, Medina County is getting rain as we speak. So Hondo, Medina Lake, you're getting rain as we speak. Now, again, it's not nearly as much or as damaging as it was in the overnight hours out to the west with all of the flooding, but it is a decent amount of rainfall heading toward Hondo, out toward Bandera as well. These areas are getting some rain. Now, meteorologist Adam Caskey and I were out at Medina Lake a few weeks ago when it was 2% full. It's now 5% full. In order to see Medina Lake rise, you really need more and more rain out near Bandera along the river. And as we look at their rainfall in the last 12 hours or so, it really hasn't been all that much. We've seen about a tenth of an inch of rain, up to about an inch out near Medina, and that's about it. Really, the flooding has been confined west of Bexar County. Looking at San Antonio's forecast, as I mentioned, these rains are approaching, but they could easily fall apart. But still in the afternoon, I'm going 40% chance for you to see rain in Bexar County in your backyard. 40% chance there, as temperatures will still only be in the 80s. To top it all off, y'all, we have to be on the watch in the tropics, because there's an area that has a 30% chance of development that could drift toward the Texas coast. The good news is we are going to dry out on Wednesday and Thursday. So that is very good news for us. We will likely only see a small chance for rain tomorrow as well. And we definitely need an opportunity to dry out, because the biggest thing to be concerned about today is that Kerr County volunteers and responders need to stay alert for the incoming rain. The Frio River is expected to flood at Concan and near Uvalde. It's rising as we speak. And in the flood watch that we've got going on, you can see that that's really in effect for areas west of San Antonio. And I do think that they are currently checking on the river crest information that I showed you earlier. Remember how I showed you this, that it's really not it's not rising all that much quicker, and so because of that, the forecast information for it to reach major flood stage is a little bit in question. It might not reach major flood stage, which again would be great news. We do not want it to reach major flood stage, but this is kind of a wait and see situation. The National Weather Service office is checking with the powers that be to see if they can get some updated forecast information about the Frio River, both at Concan and at Uvalde. So we will keep you posted about that. For now, that's pretty much a complete update of what's going on. We've got this heavier rain that's starting to push nearer to Kerrville and Comfort, and this is might not cause major flooding issues, but it is definitely going to cause folks out here to postpone the recovery efforts a little bit longer. Those will be moving through the Kerrville, Comfort area by about 12:15. So I'm going to sign off of this appcast real quick. I'm going to get things together for the 12 o'clock noon show, which will air on KSAT, and I'm also going to try to get that to air on KSAT on streaming on the app as well. So thank you all for checking in with us here. As your weather authority, we are going to continue to keep you updated on the flooding situation west of San Antonio.